Welcome to the Fixtures podcast. Yay.
Episode
6.
Game week 5.
I think.
Game week 5.
Yeah.
If you're counting the bonus episode, that
Yeah, we
Seven.
had a bonus. We're not
Seven
counting
was-
that. That was not. We didn't count.
It was the best episode, though. It was the best episode, though. Speaking of bonus
So we're back from the international break. Yay. So we have some games to review.
game review.
Did you make
So-
any notes?
Yeah.
Nice job. I'm proud of you.
So let's open things up with Liverpool 3, Newcastle 1. Newcastle's still not good. Liverpool's still good. Sadio Mane.
Firmino had a really good pass in that game that I saw.
Oh yeah, the flick to Salah for the third goal. Oh, it's fantastic. Bobby is such a good player. It's amazing how good he is.
But is he the best number 9 in the league?
Yes,
I think
I would say yes.
I would have to say that he's number might actually be 9, but he doesn't play like a number 9.
I think he's more of a false 9.
No, he plays like a false 9 or a number 10, honestly.
Yeah.
And I would say he's the best at that in the league.
He's
a fantastic
very
center
quality.
forward. He's a fantastic center forward.
This might be the best attack in the league. Although I can't say that with a straight face because then I remember Kevin De Bruyne,
Sadio
and
Mane
Sergio Aguero
and
exist.
Salah are
Yeah,
still
but-
feuding.
No, they're not. Didn't you see that?
Probably.
No, didn't you see that Salah posted a video of them where it was superimposed over like two kids meeting in the street and they ran up and hugged each other? And then Mane retweeted it or re-Instagrammed it or whatever you kids call it these days.
I did not see that because I am not a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, I did not either.
Yeah, you should
Just-
follow
I really
them.
Don't care about Liverpool
you
at
should
all.
also follow James Milner on everything because it's great.
James Milner officially today has been playing football, professional football, for half his life.
He also is putting a book out, so check that
The
out.
most boring book ever.
It is. I think it's called like answering your questions about kicking a football around. So yeah, James Milner's coming out with a book. Liverpool's top of the league. Things are looking good, guys. Things are looking good. Newcastle still in trouble.
I mean, I feel like this isn't the kind of game to gauge where they're at, though.
No, it's not. But I don't know. They didn't look very strong, which again they're not really going to against Liverpool. But they did score the first goal, so
That's always a
kudos
plus.
to them for that. But then they got flattened.
How did I get paint on this?
So, I think that wraps up Liverpool Newcastle. Not too much to talk about there. Liverpool is kind of cruising at the moment. They're on track to potentially beat the record for most wins straight. I believe it's 18 games. I think they're at 15 right now.
I thought City broke that last year with 19. I don't know, it was something. It's something insane.
All right. Well, next is Manchester United 1, Leicester City 0.
This game was kind of dull. Just that penalty in the 8th minute was really the only thing to separate the two sides.
That sounds boring.
United looked like the better side in this game. Daniel James had a couple really good chances. I think he's gotten almost a little too confident at the moment, and he's kind of fishing for chances.
I mean, honestly, keep going. I mean, he's been doing great so far. You might as well. I mean,
If he keeps on missing them, I'd say calm down a little bit. But you know, why not for a little bit right now?
Yeah, but he's kind of looking for crazy goals. So
hey, man, if you don't shoot, you can't score.
So
Wayne
overall,
Gretzky.
this game was pretty even. Were you guys surprised that this game was even as it is, considering Leicester has been doing pretty exceptional so far, and United has been kind of floundering?
I think a terrible Manchester United is equal to a good Leicester.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I mean, like what a lot of people don't realize is how far away the top 6 is from the rest of the league. Like, this is the worst United team I have seen in such a long time. My first season watching soccer was literally David Moyes' first season. But you know what? This is worse than that, honestly. They're still so much better than Leicester. They're still so much better than Wolves. I don't see any team catching up to Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, any of them.
All right. Well, Nikki, do you agree with that?
Yes.
I could see Leicester sneaking into the top 6 this season. because they're a good side. United and Chelsea are both kind of still floundering. United, I think, more so than Chelsea at this point, which is a little unexpected. But I don't know. We'll see when the youth magic wears off at Chelsea if they're still what's left after that.
They do have a couple players coming back from injury too. Don't forget Callum Hudson-Odoi and the other one,
and Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
that guy.
Yep. So they do have good people coming back from injury, but I don't know. Can they keep it up? We shall see. But yeah, I don't know. I think United would have wanted more from this game. Rashford scoring a penalty is good, considering all the penalty drama earlier that we've probably all forgotten about. I think Pogba was out this game, so Rashford took that penalty. All right, Pogba was out, and he was out. He wasn't even on the bench.
Yeah, I think he just picked up a knock or something.
I don't think he's out for an extended period of time. Just that one match. Okay, so moving on. Sheffield United 0, Southampton 1.
So not only does Billy Sharp score their first Premier League goal this season, he also got their first red card. Hats off.
Actually, their first ever Premier League goal.
It is their first ever Premier League goal because I don't think they've been in the Premier League.
Premier League, yeah.
I thought they were in the 2000s.
No, that was Sheffield Wednesday.
And that's since it's been the Premier League. They were in the top flight of English football pre-Premier League. So yeah, that was their first ever Premier League goal. And
Southampton's jerseys are really ugly.
That was last week's episode, Nick. You had your chance.
We didn't get to S.
Well, that'll be next international break.
I'm excited.
So yeah, Southampton, this is kind of a battle. This is definitely a battle for the lower end of the table of who's going to be avoiding relegation and who might be going down. Southampton really walking away with some critical points here, I think, especially at home to Sheffield United. And Sheffield United hasn't been looking bad, but I don't know. This might set them back.
I think Southampton is still going down.
I think these teams are going to finish in 16th and 17th.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think right now, Sheffield United is in 15th place with 5 points, and Southampton is in 10th with 7 points. So Southampton actually has more points at the moment, and it's tied with Bournemouth, Everton, and Crystal Palace. Really? Where did they get those points? They beat Sheffield United. Oh, and they beat Brighton, which not really.
And they tied United.
That's a pretty good result.
Really good result.
That is a good result, but it's a good result if you're, Southampton.
Hey,
so
would you look at that, Mark?
I know that my team is bad, man.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Currently, Liverpool sitting in with 15 points. City, we'll get to. We'll get to it. It's coming.
Your show notes are just blank.
Because it's just my show notes are just City. So we'll get there.
Brighton,
guys.
Burnley.
We're saving the best for last.
Brighton
won. Burnley won. Yay.
How can anyone ever say that either of these two teams are their favorite team? I'm kidding. If you're from the city, it's respectable. But just watching it from the United States,
these are legitimately the two most boring teams in the league.
Yeah. I don't know. The 91st minute goal was a little exciting. It was a good goal. It came out of nowhere. It's from outside the box, just kind of the last ditch effort, and it happened to go in, and they happened to salvage the draw.
Lucky.
Yeah, a little bit. It was a little bit of luck, but I mean, it was definitely a hard shot. But it was, Brighton kind of got FIFA'd here, with the 91st minute goal. So I don't know. Brighton, I think, could have done better here. They kind of controlled this game. 63% possession, 491 passes to Burnley's 284. But
Burnley's only shot on target was the goal. The goalie should have had that.
Yeah. Well, and it was so late in the day that it's honestly, they were expecting the whistle to be blowing, and
I guess after 91 minutes without having to like save the ball, yeah, I guess Matt Ryan got a little bored.
So,
All right, next up, game of the week.
No, it's not.
How would this not be game of the week?
Because we'll get there.
A 7-goal.
It doesn't matter.
Thriller.
It doesn't matter because we'll get there. We'll get to the game of the week. But this is not the
100%
game of the week. No, it's your game of the week.
I would say
Chelsea 5, Wolves 2.
I'd say Tammy Abraham, man of the match for both teams. Got both teams some important goals.
Steven, if you're out there, I'm sorry.
Who?
He's the kid that watched the Champions League final with us. That's the Wolves fan.
Oh.
And he listens to every episode.
Oh.
Love you, Steven.
A
So
loyal fan. Am I
What-
clipping?
no, you're okay.
Okay.
So what happened here, Nick? What went right?
Everything. Pretty much. Tammy Abraham can't stop scoring. Scores on both ends. You know? Fikeo Tamori literally just hailed Jesus and then hit that shot. I mean, I think he was like 40 yards? 30 something?
Oh, he was way out there.
He was way out there. And apparently, as Pluaqueta screamed at him, "Don't shoot!" And then and they were interviewing all the players about what they thought when he took on the shot. And they all said to Maury, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" So, but yeah, that was a good goal by them. I was very happy seeing that. It's great to see another academy boy coming in. Every person that scored in this game for Chelsea was an academy boy.
This is such an exciting Chelsea team. I hate that. But
This Chelsea team is going to be our class of '99.
I think so. Actually, okay. I'm gonna predict that they're not gonna reach the same heights because that United team is just insane.
No, and
But, like, come on.
I'm gonna say, Nick, at what point does the kind of youth magic wear off? All of them are playing well right
5-2.
now.
We're just getting
because-
started.
Game week 14.
Yeah,
I'm calling it right now.
I still, I mean, I anticipated that this was going to be, they were going to look good for a few games, but at some point, I think they're going to hit a wall, and if the egos start crumbling,
I think you mean a wall that Tammy Abraham can absolutely destroy with a hat trick.
I don't know.
Okay,
obviously,
Tammy Abraham is literally the top scorer in the league right now.
I was doubting Tammy Abraham before this game.
Everybody was doubting Tammy
because
Abraham.
he scored 4 goals in 2 games against really weak opposition. And yes, Wolves side is doing awful, but come on, a hat trick against Wolves, he's showing some really good promise.
Patricio in goal. That's a really solid goalie.
And their defense is not bad at all. I mean, I think they've got an injury or two back there right now, but still, that's impressive.
Plus the Mason Mount scoring again, which is also very nice to see.
yeah,
2
they did
injuries
have-
back there, yeah.
It's
But,
really nice to see Mason Mount scoring again too.
Yeah, Mason Mount also coming back from international duty, getting his call up.
I think, Tammy also got his call up too.
And I know we touched on this a bit in the week before the international break, but what is going on with Wolves? Is this really the European curse of the 7th place team who can't hack it in the Europa League and explodes? What's going on here?
I mean, they upgraded the parts that they didn't need to upgrade. I think their attack was fine, but their defense is just atrocious right now.
I
And
wouldn't
think
call
they
it
didn't-
atrocious.
They're not addressing the problems.
They just need.
Would you say it's the weakest point in their team?
It is because they don't have enough defenders. They're missing. They're
They're
missing.
not addressing the problem that they have.
But this same team finished 7th place last year.
But this team wasn't playing as many games last year. I mean,
precisely.
They've already had
those
2
type of
center
old
back.
defenders. They have old defenders on their
The
team.
Europa League hasn't even really started yet. We're not
mean, they're
even
doing
to the group,
qualifying.
we're not even to the group stages yet.
I
mean,
would honestly say the
what's
qualifiers
gonna
are going to
happen-
affect them more.
What's going to happen when we hit to the group stages and they're playing games week in, week out? I mean, right now, Wolves is in 19th place, 3 points,
Jeez.
no wins, 3 draws. The only team doing worse than them right now is Watford, who we'll get to. That's bad news bears for Wolves. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be as dramatic as my father was.
Wolves are going down.
Honestly, no, they're not going down.
No, I think they'll be
I think
they'll be okay.
Once they get knocked out of the Europa League,
But they really got to turn something around. I mean, they have so many good strikers, and they just can't hit the net.
I think it's just their defense. I think once most of their players get back, like I think Willie Boley or something is out injured, and
Foley and
Matt Doherty. But Matt Doherty came on.
yeah.
One thing I would
the
like
game.
to say real quick about the Chelsea team is that Callum Hudson-Odoi and Reece James are both back in action now. They played
in training.
No, they played Premier League 2 games.
Oh, yeah, for the reserve side.
Yeah, but they're back. They're in full training. They're back in Premier League 2. It's looking good. We didn't start Christian Pulisic. He played 3 in the back. It was the good old days, man.
And your boy Marcus Alonso.
I know he's coming back in. I'm really happy to see him. Honestly, I think he played pretty well. I think he's been playing. I think he played better than Emerson has been playing. So I hope that continues with him.
It's just because it's the back five.
Yeah, it's because that's what Marcus Alonso's best at. He's best at left wing back because he's a natural left mid.
So, yeah, and I mean, it's good to see Rudiger back. Obviously, I think that was the biggest boost they needed.
And Christensen finally came out of hiding, which was
Christensen came out of hiding.
Tamori, I like that back 3, honestly, a lot.
Zuma was banned to the Shadow Realm until he came on.
I like that. I like that back 3.
Zuma should not play another game for this Chelsea team until like 2037.
I 100% agree. Honestly, he can just leave. He's been every defensive mistake we've had has pretty much been because of Zuma.
I wish it was just one player for Arsenal.
We'll get there. That's the word of the day. The second half of this episode is going to be great, guys. Yeah, so I don't know. This is a good win for Chelsea away at Wolves. Some quality all around there. And speaking of quality, we're moving on to Spurs 4, Crystal Palace 0.
I don't think anybody expected this Crystal Palace side to put up a fight.
Still, though, how good is Son?
I would say he's Spurs' best player right now.
I would too.
100% most reliable.
I think by far he's the most reliable. I think he's one of their best players, if not the best player on Spurs. I know a lot of people will say Harry Kane, but I feel like Son is far more consistent, and God, his ability to just destroy defenses is just so fun to watch. He's just a fantastic player all around.
You think Eric Lamela gets a mention for second place at least? I'm kidding. He's not their second best player.
No, not by a long shot. But yeah,
Remember when he was their replacement for Bale?
What? No. Remember when they spent the bail money on Roberto Soldado?
Yeah, but their replacement for Bale was Lamela.
He better. I'm sorry, but still better than Roberto Soldado.
Yeah, obviously. I don't even know what happened there.
He was good in Spain, bad at Spurs, then good in Spain again. I think.
Also, Serge Aurier coming back for Spurs. That looks that's promising for them.
Interesting formation. They made a little man.
So, and up front with 2 strikers, with Son and Kane.
A 4-2-2-2. Very interesting. This formation is not even in FIFA.
Well, I think it's
It'll probably
calls something different.
It's actually not. It's not in FIFA.
Well, no, but this is not actually. This is just a rough outline of what they were actually playing. I mean, when you talk about actual tactics and not FIFA tactics, formations are kind of loose.
They changed throughout the whole game.
Yeah, they change throughout the game. They change on offense, the defense. They change just so much, and it's more about roles than anything. About what role you're playing. You know, if someone is playing as a forward,
I think this formation
rather
is
than
good
a winger,
though, because it takes away the space in the midfield that is usually left there when there's a gap between the attacking in the midfield or the defense in the midfield, and this takes that away.
Well, they really played some very free flowing football this game, and I mean, really, the box, Crystal Palace's box, was just loaded with Spurs players every time they came. Every time they were on the attack, it was actually pretty impressive. Crystal Palace, really laid down and took this beating. Not much really to say for them, other than they really could have done better here.
Could they have, though, with that team? I mean, I'm sorry, starting Gary Cahill at center back, and with Mamadou Sakho. That's like a 2013 center back.
Yeah,
it's a 2013 center back pairing.
Yeah, but I mean, those are their starting center backs, and they're both back from injury, and they just got obliterated.
I don't think this is going to be a good season for Palace. Zaha is the only good spot in their
And
team.
he wants
right
to
now.
leave.
And Zaha
really bad.
has not scored or assisted.
Yeah.
He hasn't been involved in any goals.
Plus, Zaha literally
So far this
was
season.
like, "I want to leave so bad. Please just let me leave." And they were like, "No."
So yeah, Crystal Palace not looking great. This game, Spurs really looking the part.
Yep.
If they can keep that run of form going, they'll be a force to be reckoned with. But
All right.
as Spurs does, Spurs likes to be very inconsistent, and they will beat Crystal Palace 4-0 in a wonderful display of attacking football, and then go and lose to Newcastle. And that's just the way it is.
All right.
That's
Next
just how Spurs
game.
do. And now the real game of the week.
Are you telling me Brighton 1, Burnley 1 was not the game of the week?
Norwich City 3, Manchester City 2.
Uh-oh.
Stinky.
What happened?
This game was fantastic.
They beat the City Press. They did.
They did, and not only that, but
They
they
cracked the code. They figured it out.
They beat the City Press with 11 injured players. So this, I mean, seriously,
What?
this game was just unbelievable from start to finish. That header from McLean was great. Todd Cantwell's goal. I mean, it really shows almost how important Laporte was to this side as well, because City got sliced open on several occasions.
Remember when City bought Otamendi and it seemed like a good idea, and now 5 years later, it's the opposite of anything that we thought it would be ever.
I want to say something about this game.
Go for it.
Norwich, they cracked the code. And I think what's going to happen is City is going to try to keep doing the same thing. And then they're still going to keep ending up with results like this and getting played all over.
Well, this is the same thing that happened when City's code was cracked last time.
Yeah,
when
but City's code last year wasn't cracked until like
no, that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, in Pep's first season, they were winning every game. They were a shoo-in to win the league.
No, that was his second season. His first season, they finished like fourth.
Yeah, no, that was when they didn't win. And they went up and played Celtic up in Scotland, and Celtic just freaking laid them out.
All right, well, back to what I was saying. Now that they have found that out,
I had to relive that moment of Celtic drawing City.
Now that someone has found out how to beat them, other teams are going to copy what Norwich did. And if City does not address the issues that they had in this game, they are going to end up with similar results to this.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. They beat the City Press. They sliced City's defense open. Timu Pukki scored again.
Pookie party.
The Pukki party continues. And
Abraham party.
more importantly, though, I don't think was the first 50 minutes, but rather the last 30 or so, when Norwich went into full defensive mode and took the entire brunt of a Manchester City attack and got scored on once by Rodri. I mean, Raheem Sterling and Sergio Aguero were both just completely shut out. They had a few shots and they shot him right at Tim Krul. I mean, it was unbelievable to watch Norwich just stand up to Manchester City.
How old
and
is
just
Tim Krul?
Old.
Yeah, he's pretty old. He's been playing for whatever country he's from.
He is 31 years. Actually, not that old.
Oh, wow. Okay. He's been playing
I feel
for
like
the
he's
Netherlands
been
for a
around
long time.
forever.
Yeah.
Well, he also started out really young with Newcastle. But I feel okay. This is going to be a dumb comparison, dumb analogy, if you will. But this is like in World War II when Britain took all those bombings from Germany and they just stayed up. I feel like this is what that was. The second half for Norwich.
Yeah,
They
I mean, they were just completely under assault from Manchester City, and it was honestly incredible how they played with so compact and so tight and just shut down anything City tried to do. It was fantastic. It was amazing. Kudos to Norwich. Really, an unbelievable game. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's great.
They didn't let the fascist oil regime take over. I like it.
On the flip side, how screwed is Manchester City without Laporte?
Very. Otamendi's not a good defender. Stones is a pretty bad defender.
Stones was terrible this game.
Yeah,
he was the one who got left for dead by Timu Pukki twice.
I wouldn't be surprised if they switched to a 3 in the back.
I feel like Kyle Walker is a better option than
Why did
John
Ederson not
Stones at this
play?
point.
He did,
Bruh.
bro.
What?
That's his full name, man.
Yeah, it's
No, I
Ederson
know, but, like,
Moraes.
Why did he not play well?
Oh, that's what you meant.
What I meant.
That's sure. That's what you meant. He didn't really though. He had a couple goalkeeping errors, but he was really just left out by his defense. I mean, there wasn't much he could do there.
I was distraught because he's my fantasy goalie.
Thank you, Nikki.
he
Very
didn't get any
cool.
points because he got scored on 3 times. So, but he did play.
Yeah, that's the center back's fault. City's gonna be conceding a lot of goals with Stones and Otamendi. I think I saw a statistic earlier where it's like they've played 25 games together under Pep. They've conceded 28 goals, and every other center back pairing they have has conceded less goals.
Bro, the Westmont soccer team played 5 games. Or no, 6 now. We've played 6 games, and in those 6 games, we have conceded 29 goals.
You guys are just bad.
Hey, we won.
Man, that's terrible.
29 goals.
That's why you don't have a podcast about your team. So yeah, this was a fantastic game. Norwich coming away with 3 points, really, and with 11 injuries, 10 injuries. Tim Krul was on the injured list and managed to actually start though, and really should have been man of the match with his saves that he made. It was fantastic. So yeah, that for me was game of the week. Moving on though.
Well, you're wrong.
Bournemouth 3, Everton 1. All of a sudden, Everton back to good old Everton?
It's just Everton at Goodison Park is like England during World War II, and Everton away is like France during World War II.
Yeah, Callum Wilson with 2 goals, Ryan Fraser with the other one. This was some vintage Bournemouth from last season and some vintage Everton. It was the new fancy Everton side with all their new fancy signings.
And Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores. Oh my goodness.
And this is the way it is.
He's not good.
I think Everton should start putting up missing person posters for Moise Kean. He's just nowhere to be seen.
Well, he's been coming on as a sub. He's just too young to be starting.
He's just gone. It's like they sub him on and there's just a blank space.
You can't expect a 19-year-old who has only been ever playing in a different country to like suddenly be used to this new country. Like
I know, but
a lot of players have gelled quickly like that. Like I'll give you my example with Matteo Guendouzi. He's always looked like he belongs at Arsenal. He belongs in the team. But like Moise Kean, I mean, right now he's just new. He just needs a little bit of time to gel in.
But Guendouzi was a Arsenal academy player, right?
No, we bought him in from Lorient, I think.
You're wrong,
the second league,
Ryan.
the second French league.
Huh. Did not know that.
He's very French.
Yeah, clearly. So yeah, Everton not looking so good this game. Obviously, it was at home to Bournemouth, but yeah, Everton really didn't control this game at all. Got sliced open on several occasions, and just looked the weaker side despite having the bulk of possession. They just never looked at it. They did have a couple good shots, but nothing really too menacing. I think that Bournemouth was definitely the better team on the day. So
All right, next game.
next game,
Watford
Mark,
2, Arsenal 2. Mark?
why what is going on? Why would you start David Luiz
I'm
and
literally about
Socrates
to-
together?
I'm about to literally roast Emery here. All right, here we go. Emery sets up his teams in the worst way I have ever seen. I saw Wenger in his worst years, but I never saw Wenger set up this weird of a midfield in front of this bad of a defense. I thought it could not get worse under Wenger's defense. And here you go. We got David Luiz and Socrates Papastathopoulos starting together. And they're tripping over their own legs more than they are tripping over Socrates' name because they're not doing well. I don't get it. We're conceding penalties. We're conceding stupid goals. Honestly, nobody in this backline looked good today other than Leno because he looks good every day. And it's just baffling to me why you would start Granit Xhaka at defensive midfielder along with Matteo Guendouzi, Danny Ceballos, and Mesut Ozil. Those three should never play all at the same time. The ideal midfield to me is honestly Danny Ceballos, Granit Xhaka, and Torreira as a pivot. Like, you cannot use Granit Xhaka as the defensive midfielder because he will not defend. He cannot defend. And honestly, Mesut Ozil, he didn't play awful this game, but he just doesn't fit.
And he's on super high wages.
$350,000 a week. Jeez.
And yeah, is this his first start so far this season?
Yeah, but
I know he had the whole London gangs, Peaky Blinders thing going on,
and that's why I'm not too mad about him starting this late. And but I feel like even when Tierney and Bellerin come back, this isn't going to be much of a better side. Emery consistently sets up his teams to be just. I honestly don't get it. I would not have thought of this myself. No matter what, I don't know what possessed him to put, this kind of midfield out in front of an already weak defense. Like, this midfield gets played through every day of the week. Mesut Ozil doesn't track back because he never was supposed to. And then Ceballos isn't really a defensive midfielder either, although he was playing center mid here. But Matteo Guendouzi and Danny Ceballos both advance the play. And so does Granit Xhaka. So we have three players that advance the play, plus Mesut Ozil, and nobody's sitting back and just helping the defense because this defense needs someone to sit back and help. You cannot concede 31 shots in a game and only say it's the defense's fault. This is what's the opposite of a masterclass? Because it's a tactical
disaster.
There we go. From Unai Emery.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
31 shots. Holy crap, that's a lot of shots.
I don't know how they didn't score more. If we didn't have somebody skying it every 35 seconds, maybe they would have scored. But maybe they would have
31
scored
shots,
more than
10 on target.
And honestly, they deserve to win it. The first half, the first half was the weirdest half of soccer I've ever seen because I did not enjoy watching it. I didn't even cheer for the first goal. I didn't even notice that there was a goal going on because everything just seemed so choppy. This wasn't the beautiful playing Arsenal that I was used to last season, the season before. This was ugly. Like, I did not enjoy watching this at all.
And I mean, I don't know. At a certain point, just changing your, it almost seems like that Arsenal changes their play style game to game.
That's Emery's
there's
thing.
no Arsenal style. Like, if you watch a team like City or a team like Liverpool, like, there's a distinct style, and regardless of if Bobby Firmino's out or Wijnaldum is out or somebody's out of that side, it's still going to be the same style of play.
And that's I don't get why Emery does this every game. You do not need to adjust to Watford. Watford was bottom of the league with 1 point. You do not need to adjust your entire tactics to Watford. Maybe the Liverpool game, I understand. Even less, I understand the Spurs game. But this there was no need to shift tactics here. This is a 4-3-3 game. I would say it's not a 4-3-3 game just because of Lacazette being out. But this is a game where you keep what you've been doing because it's honestly, I feel like last year the way we played worked pretty well. So this is like a 4-2-3-1 kind of thing where you have, Aubameyang up top and you have Pepe and you would have either Ozil or Ceballos, somebody to fill out on the wing, and the other one of Ozil or Ceballos in the middle, just so you can, that's what they're used to. And it's always worked. So I don't see what the point of changing it every week when it's not going to work when you change it every week. I haven't seen Arsenal play 4-4-2 until this season, other than when we get desperate with a bunch of injuries. But
Hey, Mark.
here we go. What's up?
I had Aubameyang on my fantasy.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Aubameyang got 2 scrappy goals. I'm happy for Aubameyang, and
I'm happy for my
And I mean,
fantasy.
Aubameyang has always been the bright spot of this team, despite some questionable play from everyone else around him. I think Aubameyang has always been pretty consistent.
I haven't seen anything to show that he isn't the best player on this Arsenal team. Maybe every once in a while Lacazette or Burnley will have an insane performance, but all in all, Aubameyang is the best player on this team by
He's
far.
100% the most consistent.
Oh, of course. He scores or assists almost every game. He works so well with both Pepe and Lacazette. Obviously Lacazette because he's been working with him longer. But I wish I could see this kind of consistency in the rest of the team. And I don't mean consistently giving up penalties like David Luiz is for some reason. Consistently making mistakes like Granit Xhaka and Socrates. Consistently just putting out the wrong team like Unai Emery. I don't get it.
And I mean, I worry about this team even more once Tierney and Bellerin are back, because both Tierney and Bellerin are wingbacks, really.
Yeah, they are not.
They're
defenders.
They're
They're defenders,
attacking.
but they're not
They're attacking
defenders.
wingbacks. I mean, they play almost similar to how Liverpool plays, where Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson are pushed so far up the pitch, but they can do that because they have
Big Van Dijk.
Van Dijk and Matip in the back who can control things, and it's not a big issue, if there's a breakaway or something, because you have the world's best center back defending. I worry that if Hector Bellerin and Tierney are pushing up super far, that David Luiz and Socrates is just going to be a slapstick show in the back.
Holding I hate. Okay, actually, I don't think Holding needs to come into the starting lineup. This is gonna sound stupid, but Chambers has to come into the starting lineup. If you're consistently losing clean sheets due to stupid mistakes, Chambers is at the very least a level-headed defender who will not concede a penalty, because he has a half a brain, I guess. I don't know, but he's just gonna be there. He might concede a couple goals, but it's not because he's just such an average defender where it's like, is it even worth it for Emery to play Chambers? And I feel like at this point you have to take one of David Luiz or Socrates out, because it's just not working.
Well, and the other thing, and I mean, I only compare it to Liverpool because I've watched so much Liverpool, and they're one of the best teams in the world right now. Well, they have the trophy to prove it, that they're the best team in the world at the moment. So, and I mean, they're undefeated and they're looking so good. So, I mean, I apologize for comparing every other team to them at the moment, but their defense also works because they have a fantastic defensive midfielder in Fabinho, that it almost is like playing 3 at the back, because you have 3 high-class defensive players. And I don't know, I don't see that strong destroyer in this Arsenal side.
William Saliba better be the second coming of Jesus or something, or Koscielny, either one. Less of a snake though, but I don't get it. I don't see where we're gonna improve this. We've spent all the money. We've changed up the tactics. I don't even get it anymore. And it's not injuries at this point, because Holding, I'm sorry, but 22, 23-year-old Holding isn't going to save this. 25-year-old Chambers definitely isn't going to save this. And Bellerin, I will say Bellerin and Tierney are going to help, because Kolasinac is one of the worst defenders I've seen in this league, and Maitland-Niles is just too young. But I don't think that they're going to be everything that we need, because you need more than just a back four. You need a midfield, and this is not a great looking midfield. I mean, if you put literally, he could have put Torreira in there instead of Xhaka, and honestly, this might have been a 2-1. Like, we would have won this game. Because, and it's not Xhaka's fault. It's because we don't have a player that comes back and helps the defense other than Torreira. And even that, I wouldn't say Torreira is the greatest at that. I feel like maybe putting in Chambers there just to experiment. I mean, playing Torreira, he does not start ever for some reason anymore. I don't get it, but yeah.
All right, so in conclusion, Arsenal bad.
Well,
Emery
and I
bad.
mean, Arsenal is a good team on paper, which I think is why we're spending so much time kind of talking about them, is because they should be able to push into the top three, if not even the top two, especially since City apparently is going to be a mid-table side without Laporte. So
It's not the center back's fault this time. I have to say, 31 shots. You're gonna. I'm sorry, but if you're taking 31 shots, it's the defenders aren't gonna do much there.
That sounds like a midfield problem.
It straight up is. It's just all not having somebody there to sit in front of the defense and guard.
All right.
Sometimes maybe two people.
Next
all right,
game.
moving
Aston Villa
on.
0,
Aston Villa
West Ham
0,
0.
West Ham 0.
Snooze
The
fest
final
of the
game
week.
of the week.
Snooze fest of the week.
Well, thank you for listening to the Fixtures podcast. No, I'm just kidding. But there really wasn't much to say about this game. Villa was the better team here, I think. 10 shots, 5 on target, compared to West Ham's 1 on target after 13 shots. Aston Villa definitely had the quality of chances. John McGinn is a fantastic player. He really, really is. I could see him getting swiped up by a bigger side next year, probably. He's fantastic, and I think he can really make a big impact because he's just running this team right now.
Jack Grealish excuse me, sorry. Jack Grealish is an extreme hothead.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got to chill it out. I mean, how has he not got 5 yellow cards yet? Like, honestly, I feel like he's got yellow card in every game so far.
But I think the problem with this Aston Villa side is the thing that we identified in the pre-show where we were looking at all the teams and reviewing them. This attack does not have a lot of goals. Where do the goals come from with this lineup? Wesley is not that good as a striker. El Ghazi is more of an assist player, and so is Jota. So where do your goals come from? I mean, John McGinn is good, but he's a midfielder. He's not a striker. He's not going to be scoring week in, week out. I don't know. And I think this is coming back to bite them because Wesley had a really, really good chance in this game to put it to bed, and he just didn't. He just missed an easy header that he should have had, put it over the bar, and it's just they need to be more clinical in front of goal.
Yeah, Wesley's kind of probably the worst attacker in this league. Starting striker in the league. I'm sorry, he's definitely not the worst striker. But I don't get it. I don't see where the goals are going to come from. They have all the players to set it up. I mean, Trezeguet plays really well. El Ghazi plays pretty nicely too, and I haven't seen much of Jota to be honest. But if you can set up play as long as you want. If the goal's not going if the ball's not going in the net, the ball's not going in the net. You're still going to lose the game, or I guess draw in this case.
Well, and I mean, they got lucky, I think, in this case that West Ham was really off their game. They really didn't look potent either. They kind of just wasted a lot of chances. Nothing really looked to connect between them. I mean, they have a lot of good players with Yarmolenko, Lanzini, Felipe Anderson, and obviously Hilaire, that they should be scoring goals. They have so much firepower in this side, and to not score against an Aston Villa side that really isn't putting up too much of a fight. I mean, they were getting bossed around, and they need to be, I think, more composed on the ball, and they need to construct better chances. Because, they're really not they're not making good use of their chances and of their time on the ball.
I think this team's just. I think they're gonna start scoring a lot more goals. I think this is just kind of a fluke for them too. But it is what it is. Get that Masuaku double yellow, so he's out for the next game. And yeah, I mean honestly, they didn't field. This team looks pretty good on paper if you look at the 5 attacking-minded players. But then you look down and you see Declan Rice in front of, the most West Ham most West Ham defense I've ever seen. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there was almost just too much attacking and there wasn't enough playmaking going on. And I feel like this has been an issue for them so far this season overall. I feel like a lot of the goals they've gotten are more lucky poaches rather than constructed plays that are going to result in a goal. It's more just we shot the ball into the box, it bounced around a bit, and somebody fell into it. And I don't know. They're in desperate need, I think, of a playmaker.
Yeah.
Mark Noble is the best playmaker in the league. But honestly, yeah, I feel like they could. I feel like I think this team is just so like weirdly put together. Like if you 5 years ago, if you told me Felipe, honestly, but like, okay, before they bought all these players, if you told me that Felipe Anderson would be playing with Yarmolenko and Haller, who I had never heard of 3 years ago, and just all these like players from like top European teams are all of a sudden coming to West Ham. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how are these players so good and coming to West Ham and then always underperforming?
I mean, that's kind of what happened. I mean, Carlos Tevez played at West Ham.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
Yeah.
All right. In conclusion, Tyrone Mings is good. All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Fixtures podcast.
Well, hold on. Let's read down the table real quick as we exit out here. So we have Liverpool in first place with 15 points. Man City with 10 points, dropping 5 points so far. Nikki, will this cost in the league?
Liverpool's going to mess up.
You think?
Agreed.
Van Dijk's not looking as solid as he was last year.
You don't think we're going to win every single game this season?
No.
And every single Champions League game?
No.
And go down as the best team to have ever existed?
No. I don't think so, no.
I think you'd be wrong. No, Van Dijk is looking great. Don't you trash Van Dijk. So Spurs then.
Nicolas Pepe dribbled past him. That no one dribbled past him last season. Someone
I love
did
Nicolas Pepe.
Surprise.
And then we have the pack of these kind of the Spurs
Bad
on
clubs.
Spurs on 8 points, United on 8 points, Leicester on 8 points, Chelsea on 8 points, Arsenal on 8 points, West Ham on 8 points, all tied on points. So there's definitely going to be some more separation there, but it's anybody's game in that middle of the upper mid table there. Anybody could sneak ahead, and I mean, it just shows you that everybody, despite the fact that United is kind of struggling, they're still pulled off 2 wins. Spurs has pulled off 2 wins. Leicester's pulled off 2 wins. They've all these teams have 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. Followed by all the people with 7 points, which is Bournemouth with 7 points, Southampton with 7 points, Everton with 7 points, and Palace with 7 points. Underachieving a little bit, maybe. I think a couple of those teams, Everton, I think.
Just Everton. I'd say.
Everton, I think Everton is probably the only one that it can be a little bit disappointed to not have a better record. Although the only difference is they just lost 1 more game instead of a draw. Followed up by Norwich with 6 points, 3 losses, 2 wins. They don't like to draw, which I can appreciate. Then followed by Burnley with 5 points, Sheffield United with 5 points, and Brighton with 5 points each. They could easily, I think that's going to be the relegation scrap is going to be here downwards. Followed by Villa with 4 points, Newcastle with 4 points, Wolves with 3 points, and Watford with a new manager now sitting at 2 points. And I mean, they did manage to squeak out a draw against Arsenal. So I mean, how much I guess is that due to a new manager? Because obviously Gracia was fired over the international break, which we did not talk about. But yeah, Flores coming in as caretaker manager for the time being. I think you can be happy with a draw there.
They should be happy. I mean, I'm sorry, but like, come on, it's
But hopefully
20th place.
they're gonna need to start getting some wins if they want to stay up. Things are not looking good for them right now. But I think that about does it. Anything else anybody wants to add?
This game week made me want to cry.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're getting into the
My back hurts.
business end. There wasn't a ton, not any really big talking points this week, other than the Manchester City dropping points, which was pretty big.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Fixtures
Nikki wants
podcast.
to go to bed, so thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you
night.
next week.
I love you all. Sleep and dream well.
Hopefully your fantasy team did well,
Goodbye.
because mine sure didn't.
Oh.